What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 47, and we're starting today's episode off here with an FA Cup quarter-final tie against Queen's Park Rangers away at Loftus Road. Now, of course, last season we took on QPR in the FA Cup, but that was during that really bizarre simulation period where, for some reason, we couldn't play some FA Cup ties. We got to the quarter-final stages last year before we were knocked out during that simulation period, but as you can see, this season, the FA Cup is a playable competition. That's fantastic, and as we take on QPR here away at Loftus Road, coming on the back of that 1-1 draw against Borussia Dortmund on Thursday night in the Europa League. As you saw with the team I picked, there were a lot of changes. This was being played on Saturday evening, so only 1 day's worth of rest, and right now we have got some really bad fixture congestion. So there are loads and loads of tired players in our squad, and therefore regular rotation is required. Still, as you can see at half-time in this game, QPR had the only two meaningful chances of the game. The first attempt going off target, and then Crescito making a good save, and in the second half here, 13 minutes after the restart, a good chance for them as Sandro goes for the header but puts it over the bar and behind for a goal kick. So despite us dominating the possession stat, QPR were looking the better side, but just past the hour mark here, Dominic Iorfa picks the ball up for us here, and our big right back goes on the run, picks out Steven Gerrard's regen Watson, who finds Damari Gray, his teammate, who goes for goal, but the former Birmingham man can't hit the target and puts the ball behind for a goal kick. So still 0-0, and that was really our first and only chance of the game, or first and only really meaningful chance of the game, but we had a great chance to make it 1-0 from the spot. 13 minutes before the end, Yoon-Suk Young, the Korean left back, takes down Obiolare, and the referee gives a penalty. It was a definite penalty, but was it a red card? I'm not too sure. It was a bad challenge by Queen's Park Rangers left back, but as you'll see on the replay, I'm not too sure whether it is a red card or not, because Olare is going towards, well, he's going out of play really. All he can do is drill in across and not really score from that tight angle. I'm not sure this is a red card. It is a bad challenge. The 6'5" striker does go tumbling, but I'm not too sure it's a red card. Either way, it was a definite penalty, and how about this? Charlie Austin would stand up and take it against his former club, and he'd score it as well. Austin is surely going to send us through to the FA Cup semi-finals, book us a place at Wembley for the semi-final stage, but either way, I have to say, we were very lucky in this game, because, you know, we should have been playing a lot better. Yes, we had to rest the entire team, but QPR played better in the first half. They started the second half off brightly, and I couldn't see us scoring had it not been for us winning that penalty there. And now with QPR down to 10 men as well, it was looking very unlikely they were going to mount a fight back and stop us from going through to the semi-final stages. One of the final chances fell here in stoppage time. Obiolare takes it around Alejandro Foul in there, just holding the ball out. The big striker finds Watson. Gerrard's regen takes it around two players with a ball roll. Quick little skip around the last defender, but sadly for us, Watson couldn't hit the target, and Gerrard's regen can't get his first goal for the club. But it was how the game would finish. Final score: Queen's Park Rangers 0, Watford 1, so we are through to the FA Cup semi-final. Delighted with that, and to be honest, even though you can see the possession stat right there, it was in our favour, you may say we played better because QPR apparently didn't hit the target, which isn't true because Crescito made a save. We didn't really play very well in that game at all. It was a relatively balanced game, particularly in the second half, but QPR, I think, matched us all the way, and we were bailed out really with that penalty. Thankfully, it was the correct decision anyway, and of course, Austin did score it as well. So Charlie Austin now has 3 goals in the FA Cup. He has had a poor season for us, and don't get me wrong, but you know, his goals are keeping us in this competition right now. He scored the winner against Swansea in a previous round. He's now scored here against Queen's Park Rangers too, against his former club. So, you know, he may not have had the best season or anything, but in the FA Cup, it's his 3rd goal for us, and he's not playing too badly, I suppose. And I guess that's better than nothing for a striker who on 60 grand a week just hasn't really cut the mustard for us. Still, we take on Crystal Palace for the second of 3 games in today's episode here. A bit of a longer episode today. Taking on Palace back in the Premier League. Hoping to get back to winning ways in this competition. Our last Premier League game was an away defeat to Manchester City by 2-1, and with just 9 games to go, we are desperate to keep ourselves in the top 4. Palace right now struggling down in 17th place, so the first chance falling to us was unsurprising. Nathan Redmond's shot goes wide, the post and behind for a goal kick, and in the 25th minute, another good chance for us here from this free kick. It's crossed into the centre, but Charlie Austin, who was the hero on Saturday evening, sending us through to the FA Cup semi-final, gets himself an injury and could potentially be out for the remainder of the season. So Austin gets himself an injury. Had to bring on Troy Deeney as well. Pretty frustrating because this game was being played on Tuesday night, and in 2 days' time we had a game against Borussia Dortmund in the Europa League, one of the biggest games of the season. So I wanted to keep Deeney on the bench. Didn't want to have to bring him on so early. But as Austin gets injured, our skipper does come on to replace him. So still 0-0 in this game. But it turned out to be a bit of a blessing in disguise that Troy Deeney would come on for the injured Charlie Austin, because just 9 minutes after he does come on from the bench, Troy Deeney opens the scoring and makes it Watford 1, Crystal Palace 0. So once again, you can see by the team, barely any first team players out there at all. I think Jack Butland was the only one that was starting. That's because of the game on Thursday night. But Deeney comes off the bench, rifles the ball in, gets his 11th goal in the Premier League this season. And right now, his goals, keeping us in the top 4 right now. Troy Deeney, he may not be having as good a season as last year. He had a really poor beginning to this season, but either way, now he's starting to pick up the goals again. Gets a goal here and does make it Watford 1, Crystal Palace 0. And in the second half, not much really happened until the 69th minute. Sam Byram goes down the right hand side, takes it round the Palace left back with the fake shot, and the referee awards us our second penalty in 2 games as well. Just like the penalty we got against Queen's Park Rangers, don't think the left back can be complaining here. He does strip up Sam Byram. Obviously no card for this one, that is the correct decision, but a definite penalty and a great chance from the spot to make it Watford 2, Crystal Palace 0. Matej Vydra was going to stand up and take it. Could he make it 2-0? Yes, he could. Sends Alex McCarthy the wrong way. Does what Austin did against Queen's Park Rangers and score from the spot. Watford 2, Palace 0. And it's pretty funny as well, but at this point in time, you may be wondering why Troy Deeney, our regular penalty taker, wasn't taking a spot kick. That's because I subbed him off. I subbed off our substitute, so I wanted to make sure he'd be fit enough for Thursday night. So Vydra takes the penalty. He does convert it. Makes it Watford 2, Palace 0. It's now his 3rd goal in the Premier League too. Good thing I kept hold of the guy in January. He's now got more goals than Austin and Olari have in the Premier League combined. So good penalty by Vydra. It does make Watford 2, Palace 0. And we put the icing on the cherry on the cake, as I would say, in the 76th minute. Lewis Cook gets the goal here to make it Watford 3, Crystal Palace 0. But what an assist by Nathan Redmond that was. He wins the ball back. A couple of skill moves. First a Berber spin, then a roulette, and an inch perfect through ball. Slicing the defence open, picking out Lewis Cook. And our young defensive midfielder makes it Watford 3, Crystal Palace 0. With his 1st goal in the Premier League and his 2nd goal in all competitions this season. And it was how the game would finish as well. Final score, Watford 3, Crystal Palace 0. So really, really pleased with that result right there. We had to bounce back and get back to winning ways after that disappointing defeat to Manchester City. And we really did take our chances in that game as well. We may only have had 4 shots and 3 of which on target, but we scored 3 goals and we kept a clean sheet as well. We took the chances we got. We were clinical in front of goal. We were composed when going forward, and I'm glad we did get the win. Obviously, the negative news was that Charlie Austin did get himself an injury. He dislocated his shoulder and he will be out for 8 weeks. And also Lewis Cook pulled his calf towards the end of the game. Didn't see that, so it must have been an off-the-ball incident. He'll be out for 2 weeks, but Austin is going to be out for 2 months. That's a really, really big blow for us. That does, of course, mean he will miss most of the rest of the season. He may come back a little bit sooner and may feature for 1 or 2 games right at the end of the season, but he'll most likely miss all of the games, and his season is not completely and definitely over, but I can't see him getting involved in too many more games, as the season will come to its close by the time he's coming back from his injury. Still, we take on Borussia Dortmund for the 3rd and final game of today's episode here, and it is, of course, the big one, the Europa League Round of 16, 2nd leg tie here away in Germany. Of course, the first leg at Vicarage Road finished as a 1-1 draw, so coming into the game, our game plan was simple. Cancel out that away goal that Borussia Dortmund scored, otherwise we would be going out if we failed to hit the back of the net at least once. First chance fell to us, Traore's shot goes over the bar, and then Borussia Dortmund had a great chance there. Cavani was denied by a good stop by Jack Butland, and then Castro almost scored his 2nd goal in 2 games against us, but fortunately he couldn't hit the target and it was still 0-0. 5 minutes after the restart though, another fantastic save by Butland. He had a stormer at Vicarage Road and he makes another great save there to deny Mkhitaryan. The former Shakhtar man hits the target, but Butland denies the Armenian and we get the ball away for a corner, so still 0-0. But 5 minutes after that, how about this? We win ourselves our 3rd penalty in 3 games. Marco Ryan Thaler, the magician, gets sent down the left-hand side, latches onto the through ball, has the pace on Matthias Ginter, and the Borussia Dortmund centre-half brings him down. And just like the previous 2 penalties, you can see it was the correct decision, and that means that Troy Deeney has a chance from the spot to give us the away goal we need and make it Borussia Dortmund 0, Watford 1. So against QPR, Charlie Austin scored. Against Crystal Palace, Matej Vydra scored. Could Troy Deeney score the crucial penalty against Borussia Dortmund? No, he can't, because it's a good spot kick from our skipper, but the Borussia Dortmund goalkeeper pulls off a fantastic save and turns it behind for a corner, and our best chance of getting that away goal that we needed has now gone. So absolutely gutted about that. It is still goalless. We're still in the game, but our best chance of getting the goal we needed has gone. But it was still 0-0. But in the 66th minute, how about this for some nice football? Loftus-Cheek finds Bertrand Traore, and although Troy Deeney couldn't score from the spot, Bertrand Traore, the former Chelsea man, does make it Borussia Dortmund 0, Watford 1. Runs to the camera, relief on my face, relief on Deeney's face. It's Borussia Dortmund 0, Watford 1. A really nice passing move. Loftus-Cheek getting the assist into Bertrand Traore, and it's a really, really good finish by Traore. Accidentally pressed X a little bit too quickly, getting too excited there as the replay is being shown. But either way, Traore makes it Dortmund 0, Watford 1. We get ourselves the away goal, and despite missing the penalty, our blushes are spared because we get that away goal, and we do take the lead on the night as well. So that would mean that Dortmund would have to score once again. But as you can see, straight from kickoff here, we win the ball back through Ruben Loftus-Cheek, doing the dirty work as he always does. Win the ball back so many times, gives it to Buffal into Loftus-Cheek, plays it through to the goal scorer Traore down the right hand side, takes it round Durham, gets himself inside, still Traore, rise to slide challenge, crosses the ball to the centre, and Sofiane Buffal, the flop as you guys call him, £21.25 million, our record signing at Watford, hasn't hit the ground running this season, hasn't done the job for us, hasn't delivered the big performances that we need him to do so, does score here to make it Borussia Dortmund 0, Watford 2, getting on the end of that Traore cross. We're 2 goals up in this game, we have 2 away goals now compared to Dortmund's 1, and because of that, it does mean that Borussia Dortmund need to score 3 more goals before the game is over due to the away goal ruling. So Butler makes a great save here in the 75th minute. Dortmund were going to throw everything at us, including the kitchen sink, but of course, now we were up by 2 goals and had the 2 away goals as well. It was going to be a very difficult task for Borussia Dortmund. Wilfried Bony with 13.5 minutes to go, 12.5 minutes to go I should say, does make it Borussia Dortmund 1, Watford 2. So Dortmund weren't going to give up in this tie despite the fact they need to score 3 more goals for the end of the game. They would score 1 here through the former City and Swansea man. Wilfried Bony, the Ivorian, makes it 2-1 and gets Dortmund back in the game. And it's stoppage time here as we try and get the ball away. We fail to deal with it fully with Nathan Redmond. It's won back by Marco Reus inside towards Immobile. It falls to Socrates into Reus, and what a strike by Marco Reus, who makes it Borussia Dortmund 2, Watford 2. In stoppage time, my heart was going, my palms were getting sweaty. Dortmund had came back from 2 goals down later on to make it 2-2. We were level on the night, we were level on aggregate, but of course we were leading on the away goal ruling, and right from kickoff, as you'll see, all eyes are on the referee. When was he going to blow for full time? Well, as you can see, directly from kickoff, the referee does call time on a thrilling Europa League tie. It ends here in Germany, Borussia Dortmund 2, Watford 2, on aggregate, Borussia Dortmund 3, Watford 3, and of course that means that due to the away goal ruling, we are going through to the Europa League quarter-finals, and point proven right here. If you're a long-term sub of mine, you'll know that I always talk up the importance of the away goals. Some of you guys think I overstate the importance, but I really don't. It can be so crucial. The away goals could be the difference between you going out and you going through to the next round of the knockout stages, and as you can see in this game, the point is proven. Because of those away goals, we're going through to the Europa League quarter-finals, and I am absolutely delighted with that. But that does end the episode, guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you enjoyed today's episode of Career Mode, then please do leave a like, so it's much appreciated, and it really does help my channel out, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.